Hi, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to do a virgin relaxer, but focusing on mainly the trim because I've messed up the recording for the relaxer part. So this is my client, Ashley, and she's been natural for several years. And she decided, you know what, I'm done. I want to be relaxed. So she came in today and got a virgin relaxer. So I usually record with my other phone, but when I looked over, it had stopped recording and it said storage full. So unfortunately, I didn't get the relaxer portion recorded, but this is the after. And I want to show you guys step by step how I get this color off the ends while attempting to maintain the length as much as possible. So when I relaxed her hair, I actually started from the ends and worked my way towards the scalp. I did the ends probably to about 1/4 of an inch away from her scalp. And I did her entire head. And then I went back to the first quadrant and I went ahead and applied it close, very, very close to the scalp, but not directly on the scalp. And so here now you see I'm just blow drying it. I put it under the dryer for a little bit and I'm blow drying it. But what you might be able to see or might not is her ends. They are pretty bad. The color on those ends, of course, does not play well with relaxer. And so it had a melty kind of quality to it. So my goal was to blow dry her hair out as straight as I could and then to go and attack those ends. So you might notice I switched from using my paddle brush to a wide tooth comb, and that's because you just kind of have to choose your battles. And in this case, I noticed that her ends were not responding well to the brush, so I switched to a comb just to make things a little smoother. Usually after, the hair is straightened out enough with the comb, then I will go back to the brush, but I want to make sure that there are no hard tangles in the hair. Okay, so you can see here I re-established the brush, the paddle brush. I picked my paddle brush back up and went to work. And the ends were still kind of resisting, but they did good enough. They did well enough. So I'm going to finish blow drying her. I want to get it as straight as possible, even though she just got a relaxer. You still have that little tiny piece of wave here or there. And so I want it straight as possible so that when I go in to cut, I'll have an accurate read on things. Okay, so here she's just checking out her hair, and actually we're discussing the steps that she wants to take because I don't think she realized her hair was this long. And so I asked her, and I always ask my clients, do you want to try to keep as much length as possible, or are we just going for the gusto? And what I was explaining to her was, if you look at her from the front, that color, she's like, get rid of all the color, but the color landed above her shoulders. You can see even some near her cheek right now. And so I said, well, the back, I could do layers and that would work for the back, but the front would have to be pretty short, like bob short, if we got rid of the color. And so I told her, I said, let me work it to where I get most of that color off without doing a big chop. So that's what we're working out now. So right here, she set up and she said, you know what, just cut everything. Just cut it off, girl. Just get rid of it. And at this point, I was invested, and I was like, nah, 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 nah. We're doing it. We're going to go the low and slow method, okay? So I convinced her to let me do it gradually for her, and she agreed. And I said, I got you. It's okay. I got you. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and create that baseline, that guide on the bottom, and get off the length. That's all the length that we're going to be taking. So I like to establish that first. We're not going any shorter than that. And then the rest of it will be like layers. And when I worked in New York, I wondered why the stylist out there charged, $50 for a trim. Their trims and their haircuts were basically the same price. And I realized that many trims are like actual haircuts. So, yep, because here I am, I'm going in, and it's so cool to see like the layers I'm cutting. You see that blonde is actually leaving. And so, yeah, it's really kind of cool to see. Look at that. It looks like half and half. As a stylist and a woman who grows other women's hair, I love to preserve the length of my client's hair. And so I definitely fought for that. And I know you might be thinking, well, why didn't you just cut the rest of that off, cut the yucky off? But if you see when it's styled, it almost kind of gives the appearance of an ombre. And I knew it would be cool because it's almost like a brownish color. It's not that blonde, so it would be less obvious. But the goal was for her to go home to her husband and for him to see that she still had hair on her head. So that was the goal, and I think we achieved that. So I've already established my guide at the bottom, that baseline. And so you notice I lift that hair up in a 90-degree angle so that I can establish a guide at the top. And that will be where the beginning of the layers are. And then in the middle, I blend that space in between the two. So I have that line on the bottom, and then I have that line on the top. And then whatever's sticking out in the middle, I go ahead and cut that. And so that's how we got her layered cut. We were able to save a lot of her length, but also for her to leave with a healthy looking head of hair was the goal. So I'm just going in and just checking my work. I want to make sure if there are any bright spots still left, that I, go ahead and get those trimmed off. This is my favorite method of cutting. It's called notching. And what I love about it is you can cut that hair straight across, but you'll also be able to see those lines. Whereas when you notch it, it causes there to be a greater blend, which I love. Now, there are times where I have clients with fine hair, or there's a certain look I'm going for where I won't notch the hair. I'll just cut straight across, but they call it notching or point cutting. I point cut it because I knew she was going to have lots of layers and I wanted it to have that blend. All right, so I'm going in with a little bit of cream press by Dudley. And then I'm actually moisturizing my hands too because, man, I don't know if it's the winter months or what, but that right hand, I had like a eczema breakout or something. And I'm really shocked because I usually spray the spritz with my right hand. And so the spritz lands on my left hand, but my left hand looks fine. My right hand was looking a little dry and crusty. So with her hair being freshly relaxed, you notice I'm not going in and silking the hair out first. I'm just going right into the curls, which if she were to wear it straight today and just say, hey, I want a bump and some feathers, then I would silk it out first and then just go back behind it and do the bump. But because she's getting curls, it's not necessary. And a lot of times too, if you straighten that hair after a relaxer, if you silk it out and then try to do curls, you'll probably have to use way more products as far as hairspray and spritz to get the curls to stay versus just curling it straight out the gate. Now, don't be fooled by my curl pattern here. I do have a method to my curls. Now, the back of the head, I pretty much take it all in the same direction, which is away from the left side of the face, right? And as you can see here, on the sides, though, I like to go away from the face on either side. Okay, so this left side, you see I'm going to go away from the face, the same direction the back curls are, and spray and then away from the face, which is going to give that drama. It's going to give a little bit of that. It's going to give that zhuzh on them sides, okay? But then on the right side, I'm going to go away from the face on the right side, and it's going to give that zhuzh and that drama over there as well. Y'all are going to see it. You'll see it. So the very front bang portion, I just kind of bump it, but the rest I curl because a lot of my clients, some of them like that old school kind of, 60s like wave in the front. And if I was to do tight curls everywhere, it would do that. But the front, they want that softer kind of swoop and then body and curls in the back. And so this is why I didn't do a hard curl on that front piece. This is what I like to call sprinkle, sprinkle. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Just a little bit of oil sheen. And she's ready for her comb out. Now here, I'm not going to comb out with my wide tooth comb first. First, I do a small wide tooth comb to blend everything. We want a soft looking curl, right? And then you go in with your wide tooth. I like to call her Big Black. My mom, she put me on to this comb when I was younger. And then we go in with Big Black and we let her define everything and make everything what it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? I do have a little bit of wax I put in Murray's, and that's for the flyaways. And then I go in with Big Black and I make it happen, Captain. Yes, Ashley, you got body and movement and you fine, girl. All right, y'all, we're all done with this week's video. Thank you guys so very much for watching. Y'all have a blessed week and I will see you guys soon. Bye.